Greetings. It's January here in Middle Tennessee, and now is the time to actually take on quite a few little bike projects to get my touring bike ready for this year. If you remember correctly, these racks I got custom made by a custom builder by the name of Mark Nobelet. Really fantastic quality. But these racks are about 3 to 3.5 pounds lighter overall between the front and the rear than my older Robert Beckmans. So I'm on a lightening mission. I know I can't really get rid of the dead weight, which is a pinion, but I still love the pinion for the lack of maintenance. But I'm going to lighten my panniers, my favorite Robert Beckmans. I've taken the aluminum back out of it, and this is one of the aluminum backs right here. And what I'm currently doing now is I'm drilling holes in it to mount some very minimalist hooks. Probably the smallest hooks I ever used. These are what originally came on the Robert Beckmans. I've kind of moved away from them. But in order to get really minimalist, these things are super lightweight and they're steel. And they'll be plenty strong. I won't have my quick release mechanism, but it will lighten the load. So here you see I've just gotten holes on this one. This one I've actually screwed all the actual hooks to it. And I can show you how that goes on right now. Let's just go over here. So this is my left front, and you see it says left front inside. So see if I can finagle the camera here just right. So you see we got 3 hooks on the top and 2 on the bottom. See how that works? Those 2 hooks are here between the mounting point and the stay, and I got 1 hook out here and then 2 hooks on the bottom. So this will keep it. The neat part is these 2 will keep the pannier from moving anywhere. Now the weight of the pannier will be distributed out across all 5 of these metal hooks, which will make that very solid. Now I am going to devise a lightweight securing mechanism for this, probably using a buckle and some nylon strap, but I'll get to that at another point. Now I've already done a really big task on my rear racks, but now on my rear panniers, but now I'm getting ready to do it on my front panniers. And on the back, what I'm going to get ready to do is I'm going to drill a bunch of holes in this thing, because this weighs just about a pound. But when I perforate this thing with a bunch of holes, I'm going to get this down to about, I think I can get it down to about 8 ounces. So I'm going to take about 8 or 9 ounces of weight out of this, just by putting a lot of 1 1/8 inch holes. And I'll show you how that goes a little bit later. I've now laid out my drilling pattern in order to put lightening holes within the aluminum back. So basically I have holes are at a 1 9/16 inch center horizontally, and then vertically they're at 1.25 inches. So as you can see, the holes are approximately, well not approximately, but they actually are 1 1/8 inch. And I'm using this Klein carbide tip cutting tool, and it does a really good job at cutting these holes very cleanly. Now I've marked an X on here for every place I'm actually going to have a hole. Now the C marks a center line, and then I actually have an area that I'm not going to be cutting holes across, which I have my supports for the J hooks, which mount to my rack here at the top and here across the bottom. Alright, so this is a pretty easy operation. One of my other hobbies, I do a little woodworking, so here I'm going to make use of my vertical drill press to make this really an easy process. So what we have is a carbide tipped 1 1/8 inch hole saw, which is primarily used by electricians when they want to run conduit. Aluminum is a very soft material, and carbide has no problems going through it whatsoever. I've set up my fence. The only thing I have to do is run the piece back and forth to hit each one of my holes. We will lubricate the bit with a silicone blaster just to make sure everything goes well. We're running the bit at 200 RPM. Recommended usually about 250, but my drill press has 200 and 290, and it's a dual stepped pulley system, so 200 will be fine for what we need to do. So I'll show you one of these and maybe a couple, and that's probably about it. And then it's really just a rinse and repeat to do all the holes. And I'll do another little video after I've got maybe half of it done. So here's what we do. We first line up just to make sure we're on our mark here. And I'm dead on. This doesn't have to be an exact science. We're just trying to lighten it. It doesn't have to look good. This will never be seen. So we'll start it up. We'll lubricate our bit. There we go. Just bring it down. It's very simple. There we go. Made it through the first part. And we just go very easy. We create some nice little even cuts on it. We do it until it goes all the way down. There, it's done. Lift up. And it's done. And those are excellent shavings coming out of aluminum. You want little spirals like that. And I'll get a screwdriver here. There we go. This has a little spring-loaded mechanism in the bit. It's supposed to eject the material, but the aluminum, it does kind of get jammed up in there a little bit, but it does come out fairly easily. There we go. And that's what we're left with. That's what actually comes off or comes out of the hole. Pretty simple like that. Well, let's do another one. We'll just line it up here. There we go. We've already got a little lubricant on the bit, so I'm not going to worry about lubricating it again. I lubricate it usually about every 3 or 4 holes. We just go nice and slowly down through the top. Nice even pressure. See those shavings are coming off there? Nice. There we go. There. It's done. Very nice. Just take the piece out. And I'll show you what we've got here. See those nice, beautiful holes? Nice. All right, so that's what we'll do at my rear panniers. I had to drill 59 holes. I'm not exactly sure how many I've got here, so it's a kind of a laborious process, but it's kind of relaxing to do, and it'll give me nice peace of mind knowing that I did everything during the winter to make sure that my bike touring season is about as optimized and goes as smoothly with no problems whatsoever. And I know every little part of my bike, and this is what really brings me a lot of joy in preparation for trips, because I know that everything is 100% correct, and I'm going to leave practically zero room for any type of equipment failure. It makes touring a lot easier when you know every part of your bike and everything that went into it, and you did it yourself. So you know how to repair it if forever you have a chance, or if you ever have a problem, you'll know how to fix it. I've completed drilling holes in the first of the 2 front pannier aluminum backs. This one has 58 holes in it. My rear panniers had 59, so really pretty close, and I kind of expected that. I thought about getting rid of a little bit more material in some of these places, like here and here, but these are where my front, or excuse me, this is where the top hooks go for on the rack. So I think I'll just leave those as they are. Now that I've got this one done, I'll just have to do the other one. And then I will show you how I clean up every one of these holes, because we can't have any burrs in these holes at all. This to this, what is the weight saving? Well, let's find out. I use my highly calibrated fish scale from Walmart. Yes, I know it's not that accurate, but it's relative. It's a relative weight. So let's first weigh this one. I will zero it. I want to zero it. Okay, we're 0. Now weigh this one. Weighs 1 pound, 1 ounce. All right. Now we'll do the holy one. Let's zero that one. 0. Now, come on, 0. 0. All right, here we go. Put the weight on. That is 11 ounces. So that's a saving of 6 ounces. You may not think that that's much, but if we take that 6 ounces and we multiply it by 4, that's 24 ounces. So that's almost, what, 1.5 pounds. So that's pretty good. It may be the weight of a water bottle, give or take. Water bottle's what? Yeah, about 24 ounces. So the weight of one water bottle, every little bit helps. I know that my bike probably weighs a whole lot more, and there's no way I'll get back all that weight, but with every little piece that I reduce the weight, I'm trying to make up the excess weight of a heavier frame and the pinion body bracket. I wanted to see what I've actually been sucking up in my shop vac as I've been doing all 4 of these panels. So that's quite a bit of shavings and centers of holes. I thought that was kind of interesting. That's just all aluminum. That's pretty good shavings. Every hole needs to be deburred, and deburring is a process where you take off the really sharp edges after the drill bit, whatever type of drill bit, has gone through the hole. I'm primarily doing this because there's going to be nylon on both sides of this, and I don't want the nylon to snag on anything sharp and tear my nylon inside the pannier. So this is a deburring tool. It's just a hunk of plastic with a little deburring bit on it. And it works pretty easily. You just insert it into the tool, just like that. And then what you do is whoop, lost my stool. That's all right. So then all you have to do here is you take the tool, you put it inside the hole, and just rotate it around like this. It takes all the sharp edges off of that hole. Just like that. There you go. We'll do another one. There we go. Now there's no sharp edges on either one of these holes. I have completed assembling all my panniers after making new lighter backs within them. So the aluminum stiffener is now in here, and you can see it's got the new perforated holes in it. It's actually quite a bit lighter now by 6 ounces, which is nice. I've also changed my mounting system a little bit. I've removed my heavier quick release system and gone back to the original system that Robert Beckman uses, which was just some very small clips that would hook over the horizontal rails on a rack. So I have 3 hooks for the top and then 2 hooks for the bottom. So it's going to be very light and simple. Now to secure the pannier on the rack, I'm actually doing something that I saw in one of the other Robert Beckman panniers, which was pretty basic. So what I've done is I've just taken a very simple, I'll try to get a little closer, you can see this. Just taken a very simple strap, nylon webbing, and I've secured it to one point of the pannier, and then this is going to come down and go underneath the bottom horizontal rail, and it's going to come back up, and I've installed just a little aluminum buckle here. So it'll go underneath the buckle, and then I'll just have to pull this tight like that. So it's absolute minimalist, really lightweight, really strong, because this is just a one-way buckle. This will be my process to put the pannier on the rack. The only thing I have to do is just have the strap loose. And I've already made so the hooks fit perfectly on the top horizontal bar and the bottom horizontal bar. And I've especially spaced these two perfectly so it fits in an area that will keep the pannier from moving fore and aft. So to install it, all I have to do is just very simply hook all 5 hooks on the top and bottom. Simple as that. Then I just take my strap, put it underneath my buckle, like so, and then just pull it tight. Done. That's it. And I can't pull it off the rack at all. It's really very secure. It's not going anywhere. Simple. And then to take it off, all I have to do is just boop. Done. This completes my pannier lightening process. I've reduced the amount of the aluminum back, so I've perforated those, plus I've also reduced the mounting hardware to the absolute minimum. So I think it's a good effort. Once again, I think I saved about 6 ounces per pannier. Every little bit helps, as we know. So I'll just show you again what I've done. Here's a little buckle on the right front, the buckle on the left front, and the 5 hooks on each one of those. Moving to the back. You can see I've got 3 hooks here. 1, 2, 3 across the top. And if you notice, I've got them all the way to the right on this one, all the way left on this one, so the pannier can't move fore and aft. And then the 2 bottom hooks, I've got 1 here, and then 1 buried way over here. And it's also strategically placed to help it not move. And of course on this one, well, if I can get the camera in there, this one also has the aluminum buckle right here, which will keep the pannier on the rack. So I'm pleased with this. I think it'll work out just fine for this year's tour. I should say this year's tours. All right, overall the co-motion's looking pretty good. I am going to have to replace my saddle. Something about these Terry saddles, they just tend to crack after about 3,000-4,000 miles. Not real happy. Seems to be a very common failure point on these flies, but fortunately they're not that much. I've got another one here that I will put on it. I also have gotten new tires for this bike. I've gotten some Schwalbe Marathon Mondials in 700 by 35. Otherwise, I think this bike's pretty ready to go. I do have to do a little touch up here. This happened during shipping the bike back from California to here, to my home. And I will have to install my larger water bottle cages in order to carry more water than just, one that I use for the winter when I just go back and forth between the gym. So that's it for this project.